There's been much talk about the future of digital gaming and people's rights to the products they purchase. In particular with games, people are concerned about not being able to play the games they purchased in the event of servers being shut down and online merchants no longer being available. A line which has emerged out of this is, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
Buying has never definitively meant ownership. Depending on the product being sold, it can be ownership or it can be access. Buying a car and buying a ticket to an amusement park are not the same thing. If you pay the principal on the car is yours to do as you please. You can give it away, sell it, scrap it, modify it, whatever you choose to do once you've paid it off. A ticket to an amusement park does not give you ownership of anything outside of the piece of paper which grants you access to what you actually bought the ticket for. You don't own the amusement park, but you do own the ticket. You can give that away, sell it, or trash it. Modifying it might make the ticket invalid. There's never been a time where you purchased a game and own that game. You did not purchase ownership of the game. You purchase access to the game. You have unlimited access to the software on the cartridge. You can even sell the cartridge with the game on it, but you cannot sell the game on the cartridge. This is where piracy comes in. If you want to give away, sell, trash, or even modify your game cartridge, you can do so. You can even modify the software on the cartridge if you wish. Where you get in trouble is in duplication and distribution of the software on the cartridge. Some make a point of saying piracy is not theft, stating how a physical item is not lost or taken away in the act of piracy. It's true that the person who is a victim of piracy does not lose possession of the item being pirated. However, what they do lose, which is equally as important, is the value of the item being pirated. This is where piracy can absolutely be seen as theft. In fact, this is the whole reason for patent and copyright laws. Those who violate your copyright and patents aren't taking the thing you invented away from you. They are taking your ability to reap the benefits of the value of the thing you invented away from you. There's no real difference in taking someone's stuff and taking the value of someone's stuff. There's no difference in benefiting from the use of something you stole and benefiting from the value of what you stole. If I make something to sell and someone duplicates it and renders what I invented worthless, it's as good as if they took it from me physically. A gaming company cannot sell their games if those games they made are copied and widely distributed for free. This is why measures are taken to prevent such things from happening, and actions are taken against certain individuals and entities. Some like to say people pirating games aren't going to hurt those gaming companies making billions of dollars. In the short term, this is true, but these companies are concerned with the longevity of their business. It absolutely will hurt their business and render making video games an untenable venture if piracy of games becomes widespread and normalized. Piracy for gaming, while it's been around for decades, is still a niche activity relegated to the darkest parts of the web, mostly due to the actions taken against it. The average consumer buys their games and understands the importance of financially supporting what they like, whether it's games, music, movies, or any other good and service. With this understanding, saying piracy is not stealing or is not indeed theft is a false statement. The marketable value of an item is equally as important and as tangible as possession of an item. When Nintendo or any other company argue for their patents and copyrights, they're arguing the marketable value of the product they made is being unlawfully taken away from them by those who have unlawfully duplicated the product and distributed copies of the product. This is why when you buy a physical copy of the game thinking you own something, the only thing you own is the cartridge and the box it came in. It's also why games come with pamphlets with a bunch of legal stuff no one reads. The gaming software, the thing you bought the product for in the first place, you only purchase access to. This access is only valid as long as you have possession of the cartridge. It is not legal for you to go to the dark web and download a ROM of the game claiming you already bought this game, so it's okay to download it, again, because you own the game. No, you do not. You don't get access to the amusement park if you lose your ticket. You don't get to go to the car dealership, show them proof of your purchase of a Honda Civic, and they give you another Honda Civic after your Honda Civic got stolen or wrecked. If you lose the game cartridge for your purchased game, or it gets damaged to where it's unplayable, you have to go buy another one, or borrow someone else's cart to regain access to that game. Game preservation, as well as access preservation, are valid concerns. I don't think it's good for games to be lost forever, where it's nearly impossible to play them outside of surrendering to a 2,000% markup from a secondhand seller. It's also not a good thing for people to have to purchase digital goods to then no longer have access to those goods because the servers have been shut down. However, as the old but actually valid saying goes, two wrongs don't make a right. Piracy is not the proper response to these concerns, at least not to the extreme many have taken it, and companies are in every way justified in stopping you. Unfortunately, some games are going to be lost to time, and servers eventually shutting down and online services going away is a natural consequence of digital goods. This is simply the reality. No one will want to see a game they worked on very hard for a long time, something they poured their heart and soul into and invested much of their earnings to develop and publish, being available all over the web for free. To be heavy into piracy while complaining about the poor state of modern gaming and game preservation is one of the most contradictory positions to hold. Small studios making all the great games you love won't survive if their games aren't supported by users. The only people who will be left will be the big AAA game developers who will only make safe games they are sure people will actually buy. Games like Link's Awakening, Super Mario RPG, Final Fantasy VII aren't brought back to stop piracy. They return because these are the games that companies believe people will monetarily support. The games which have fallen down the memory hole are games people didn't support when they were on the market. There are people who will tell you the Mother series is one of the greatest series ever, despite these games selling like a fart in a bottle when they were on the market. The same thing could be said for the vaunted Virtual Console, an idea which started off well due to the novelty of digital media, but fell off hard during the time of the Wii U and 3DS, where it underperformed sales-wise. The truth is, people bought the handful of games they wanted and were done with it. Coupled with having the option to download any game on Virtual Console free of charge on ROM sites. Virtual Console simply didn't generate enough revenue to keep the lights on. In the end, if you want things to stick around, you better support those things with your money, not your rants on social media. Money talks, BS walks. If everyone to a man decided they would not pay money for games but would pirate them, the gaming industry as we know it will be gone in 5 years. To say, I'm not going to buy this game, but I'll download it off the web and play it to my heart's content. Someone would need to explain how this isn't stealing when they claim piracy is not stealing. Everyone should exercise their rights as consumers, but entitlement is not a good thing.